So much of modern-day life depends on metal. It's fundamental in the building and construction industries. It's what so much of our infrastructure is built with and on. Metal is crucial in the transport industry, air, land and sea. It's got a huge variety of uses in manufacturing, packaging, food processing, agriculture, mining, defense, and in the field of energy. It's the preferred material for everything, from pylons to turbines. Metals, from their initial manufacture to processing, distribution and recycling, are of tremendous strategic importance to New Zealand. They're an essential part of any economically successful nation. New Zealand has a rich history in metals, from the early foundries and factories in the 1860s to our first steelworks, Pacific Steel Group, from which steel began to flow 100 years later in the early 1960s. New Zealand Steel started production in 1966, initially producing galvanized steel from imported coil. In 1970, iron and steel making facilities were commissioned using the direct reduction process to reduce iron sand into metallic iron. Next year, 1971, the New Zealand aluminium smelter started up at TY Point at Bluff. And today, Pacific Steel continues to produce round bars, angles and flats using an electric arc furnace to recycle steel scrap, including metal from around 90,000 old cars every year. The metal industry is a big employer. More than 26,000 full-time jobs nationwide. A highly skilled and professional workforce. New Zealand produces a lot of metal, around 300,000 tonnes of aluminium and more than 850,000 tonnes of steel alone in 2010. And the majority of what we use every year is produced right here, from iron sand and from recycled scrap steel. Steel and aluminium are infinitely recyclable, and we use up to 90% of these metals again. Scrap that years ago would have been dumped in landfills is now recycled into a myriad of uses. At the Marketa wind farm north of Wellington, there's a telling aptness. The turbines have been made using recycled New Zealand scrap steel. The metals industry is New Zealand's fourth largest main commodity export earner, worth $2.3 billion and representing 5.5% of New Zealand's total export earnings in 2010. Around $400 million of this comes from New Zealand's two steel producers, and over $1 billion every year from the New Zealand aluminium smelter. Scrap metal is also a big export earner, contributing $355 million worth in 2009. Basic metal manufacturing is worth around $2.5 billion per annum, with structural, sheet and fabricated metal product manufacturing worth a further $4.8 billion for the year to September 2010, as Kiwi technology and ingenuity creates products worth many times the base metal value. Think about the New Zealand metal used to build super yachts and tugboats, multi-storey buildings, oil and gas rigs such as Pohukura off the Taranaki coast, or stainless steel vessels for food processing. The list goes on and on. And we're not stopping here. We've had some big wins in research and development where our innovative spirit shines. Just one example. Today, the New Zealand Structural Steel Design Standard leads the world in terms of design against seismic and fire hazards. As a result, structural steel has increased its market share in multi-level steel construction from almost nothing in the 1980s to nearly 50% today. The strategic importance of metals to the New Zealand economy cannot be overestimated. So much good work has been done. We can take tremendous heart from our history and grab the opportunities in front of us, using the skills, the technology, and the vision that we all share. All this is brought to you by a number of sector organisations and corporate members. These organisations have the shared vision and purpose to position the industry as a prosperous, vibrant, sustainable and socially responsible contributor to the New Zealand economy. Together, they will achieve this through advocacy and strategic leadership on issues that affect the entire metals industry. They'll do this via a pan-sector organisation. And that organisation is Metals New Zealand.